Welcome to Bring Down the Stars, everyone. This is a Portal Invasion Godkiller hack by Alessia Kills. It is now available, just launched on BackerKit, so please use !BDTS in chat for more information. Before we jump into this game, I would love very much to introduce my wonderful player here, the individual that we will be throwing into the battle arena. Hi, please tell me who you are and where we can find you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kai. I use he, they, and she pronouns, and you can find me everywhere as Estella Vimladris. I am a TTRPG performer, game designer, consultant, and wearer of 1,000 hats. And just excited to be back with Stella. And you all.
Well, let's just jump right into it. So, we are going to be playing a game where essentially everything changed the day the stars appeared. Your once ordinary life became a battle for survival. Monsters rose from the seas and descended from the skies. Warriors from across time and space duel in the very streets that you grew up in. Sadistic game masters place you and your friends into one impossible challenge after another. The stars, when they came, offered you salvation. Weapons and powers that would allow you to thrive in this hell on earth. All they ask for in return is your loyalty and devotion. Some called them angels, gods, devils, aliens. But you have a better word for them. Parasites. They turned your life into a death game for their own amusement. But games have rules, and you can wield those rules against them. You can turn the system on its head and wage war on heaven itself. At your hand, the stars will fall. Why don't you tell me a little bit about your character, what they look like, and when you are not in a battle arena, your sponsor has created a space that exists outside of time and physical realm. What does your lobby look like?
Bruce is, without context, seems to be minuscule among the thousands of bright, beautiful stars that whirl around in a nebula just beyond the edge of what is a beautiful lobby populated with trophies and statues, things that were earned once that now aren't so present. Bruce is lithe, long limbs. They have black, very simple garb, but at the top they have two pauldrons made of stretched out black feathers that beneath them starlight just pulses in blues and whites and silvers. Every inch of their clothing at the edges you see flits of gold, and one of their eyes shines bright with gold, the left eye. They have very slick back, simple hair, and as we kind of push in on, they're actually kind of soft-featured face. They have a frown. This space once felt good, and now it feels empty. And they look out to the stars. These aren't the real stars. This is a facsimile. They know.
Only emptiness greets you. This is a place where you're more or less stowed away until your sponsor is ready to interact with you. And you hear them before they arrive. The sound of footsteps measured and echoing across a vast impossibility. You see approaching from the darkness is an individual clad in white, tall, immaculate, vestments that are stained with liquid iron, cut somewhere between a surgeon's robe and a ceremonial executioner's garb. in their right hand, they are always bearing their blade, a dead metal that never reflects light, impossibly thin, impossibly sharp. And when you look up to where their face should be, instead you see that there is a smooth mask, and it is scored with faint cut lines as if it has been measured for dissection. This is the incarnation of the Butcher of Heaven, the closest thing to a physical form that your sponsor has. And through space, through the stars, they are slowly approaching. Are you ready?
Of course I'm ready. And Rusei looks down to the transparent ground. But do we have to do this again?
Forever and ever.
I'm ready. They do not look up.
You see in the distance a bright, brilliant light begins to flood, and it becomes overwhelming as you are transported away from this sanctuary created just for you, and you are teleported into another world. You are greeted by a fog. You know that every game that you enter is a little different. It is a different world, different place, different people. And this place is not your home. You are a champion. You won the game back at home. They all start the same. Fog. And it peels back to reveal what appears to be a financial plaza. Skyscrapers that lean inward at unnatural angles, split open like a rib cage over a clearing. You can see that the asphalt underneath is cracked and broken as if some kind of immense disaster has happened here. The glass faces of the buildings are cracked, but you can still see that light strums from within them. There are very many screens all around you, digital tickers that crawl endlessly across the shattered facades. Numbers updating, even though there's clearly no market left here to serve. Gold veins pulse faintly through concrete, like blood through muscle, as if this place were a living, breathing thing. A great many vault doors line the edges of asphalt like gravestones. What might look like the entrances to various banks, used shut with spider-thin lines of gold. Describe to me how you manifest here. You can take total creative liberty. You want to do like a superhero landing or whatever you like.
I think it looks more like walking through a door. The step through is long, black, skin-tight leggings that end in boots. And when the rest of them step through, we see those pauldrons sit as just a jacket on their shoulders. And they look to the fog, and they nod their head. They know their job.
You can see in the distance that other players are arriving in various forms. Some of them come down like shooting stars. You can see puffs of smoke in the distance. They have all landed. They have all arrived in their own fashion as well. So you know that you won't be alone for very long. The way that these games generally work, you know that the fog will press in. There will be a center in which all of you will eventually meet, or at least those of you that survive. And you can see up in the sky, a great blue translucent screen begins to flicker into life. You see words scrawl across it. A voice calls out.
Welcome to the game. Main scenario number 1. Fight for your life. Rewards. Varies. Penalty. Death.
You hear an unfeeling robotic voice calling out across the arena. How do you feel reading this, seeing this?
There is a dreaded monotony. And we see it in the fact that they don't smile. They don't really think about the players that are also stepping into this, landing into this. They are thinking about the Butcher of Heaven and what they want. But also there is a slow drag to the way that they go about it, and where there might have once been flourish and excitement, exuberance for the blood sport, we just see from their back 2 short swords in black and gold emerge, ready, but not excited, not eager, no limberness to their movement. Because Rousset has done this. And there's confidence, maybe even arrogance, but no joy.
You wait, knowing that this is not it. The main scenario is the overarching goal of this place, the way that you will become champion. You best this world and everything that it has to challenge you with. But you wait. And a beat later, several heartbeats, you see another screen appear. And it begins to read out to you.
Sub-scenario number 1. Clear condition. Secure or destroy wealth from 3 marked locations before the fog advances. Reward. 1,000 coins or 1 uncommon item of your choice. Penalty. System backlash.
So you have a choice now. You can either press on or you can try to take advantage of the area you are in. You know that these sub-scenarios will essentially give you advantages with the last fight. It will give you the upper hand. Sometimes they come in the form of giving you coins, which can be exchanged for abilities or other equipment, or sometimes even to barter with other players, if you wish. What do you do with this information?
I think that they look to the doors. Advantages are a way to fight with power and purpose. And if that's the goal of the Butcher of Heaven, then that is what they will do. And also there's a little bit of a smile, because the doors are curious, and the gold is interesting. Finally, something that tantalizes them as they go towards the vault doors that stand like tombstones.
There are hundreds of them just scattered throughout. Where there would be doors into buildings, there are instead these vault doors, very clearly marked with intricate locks and wheels that must be spun. They all bear this spider-like crackling of gold across them, as if they've been fused shut. You can take liberty in how you want to either destroy what's inside or capture it.
I think that skill challenges in these moments, they interface with them in a very blunt way, which is that they take their sword to them, because they could interface with them beyond that. And I think that there's this inclination to reach for something that they don't quite understand yet, because that's not how the game is played. And instead, they just take the pommel of one of their short swords and start wailing on the gold seams.
Okay. As you do, it rings out, bang, bang, bang with every effort that you make. And you can hear a voice. It is a lilting, soft voice of someone who's very clearly energetic. And you hear, "Oh shit, chat's gonna love this. Hey, it's the champion." And a femme person begins to run up towards you. You can see that this is clearly another player. Her armor is mismatched but expensive. You can see that there are various logos of sponsors half scratched out, others polished clean on her armor. You see that there is a fist-sized camera drone hovering over her right shoulder, red light blinking as it tracks her face. Blood is smeared deliberately across her cheekbone. It's very unlikely that she's already gotten into an encounter, but it looks wiped, cinematic. Her smile is sharp and precise as she looks at you. How do you react to this person who very clearly is leaning into the entertainment angle of the game?
Rusei puts one of the blades away and just kind of looks over their shoulder, gives the curtest, simplest nod, and we see that bright golden eye just kind of glisten. They know that someone's watching, and they know it's important to put on a good show. But they're not known for being flourishing and bright. They are known for being good, for winning. And so they are staying true to both their reputation, tied to the butcher, tied to being the champion. And they're also having a little fun, giving them a little thrill before they turn and use the blade now against that gold seam.
You see this person lean in with fascination, kind of tilting their head, and you can hear the whirring of that camera that is joined with them. You are absolutely correct. The entirety of this game is monitored. It is broadcasted. The stars are essentially milking this for all of the entertainment. You are playthings to these parasites, these beings of cosmic power. And this person seems to be trying to capitalize on that. So not only are you being watched by the stars, but you're being watched by whatever technology that this person is using. As she leans in, she laughs, and you can hear the whirring of a lens kind of zooming in on what you're doing. Chat says that you hit harder when you look angry. Want to test that? Might take you a while before you break in through that.
You're going to need to find another door. This one's mine. And they finally put the other blade away and turn around and cross their arms.
You can see that the smug expression on her face just turns into a wide wolfish grin. She mirrors you, also crossing her arms. And you can see on her hips, she has 2 pistols. She is armed. She can very easily, quickly grab for them. There are a number of things that we can do here.
Yeah!
Let's look at our moves. So there are 3 different categories of moves in this game. We have player moves, we have system moves, and we have game-breaking moves. We won't worry about the game-breaking moves quite yet. We're not there yet. But you can essentially go straight to violence if you like. You can try to use an ability or push yourself beyond your human limits. Or you can try to gather more information. You can check the status of a person, place, or thing. You can try to appeal to your sponsor. You can try to push the scenario, cling to humanity. There are a great many things that you can try here. This person seems very eager to stay and chase the clout of your presence.
I think that they're mostly interested in putting on a good show in this moment, even though they are here to actually complete this small task, they are intrigued, and also I think for the first time they're seeing seams, not necessarily in the game, but in the places where they've grown tired of playing the game. And that camera and this facade of this particular player, they're suddenly more captured by that than getting behind this vault door. And so I think the thing that they're most interested in is this player. Who are they appealing to besides the people in chat? What is their goal here?
Okay. This looks like a check status move. So when you read the status window of a person, place, or thing, you can say what you want clarity about and answer one. The GM will give you clarity you seek as they answer the other. So go ahead and roll me 2d6. We'll use this to gauge how much information to give you.
Nice. That's a 6 total.
Okay. So as you surreptitiously or overtly, however you want to, begin to try to read more information about this person, you can see that there is incomplete information. With the move itself, I'm going to answer. I'll answer what useful piece of information catches you by surprise. You are surprised to learn that this individual, their profile pulls up and their name is Killfeed, Mara Killfeed. And she has 2 sponsors. She has a hungry sponsor and a mysterious sponsor. You get the sense that every kill that she takes increases her visibility. You can do whatever you want with that information.
Mm-hmm.
So what does this look like as you're kind of gathering this information?
I think that getting player information is kind of second nature. The thing that they're looking at and kind of surprised by is the 2 sponsors, but specifically one that they have no idea who they are. And Rusey is not going to be one of those deaths fed to an unknown, partly just because they're going to win. So dying is not going to happen here. And they uncross their arms. You know, if you want to put on a good show, you should probably go get a actual leg up. Because otherwise, this is mine. And I don't particularly feel like ending your game this early.
You see that she like stomps her foot out of frustration. She rolls her eyes. She turns her head over to glance down the street, and the 2 of you can both hear some noise as other individuals are trying to break another vault open. She goes, "Fine. I'll see you around, champion."
By Killfeed.
She runs off, and very shortly you begin to hear gunshots in the distance. The clash of something great violence. As you are now alone, you become aware of the constant low hum, as if there are servers underground all around you. You can hear the faint clinking of coins shifting. There's a smell of cold metal and ozone, something faintly sweet. The vault stands before you.
And I think that they suddenly realize that this death that they are meant to serve, to Killfeed, to whoever else is down there, to maybe whoever killed her, they are so tired of it. They'd rather stand there and talk to her instead of brush her off. But to do that, there has to be an end. Maybe in the final, that's not really a talk either. And that loneliness drives them to look down at the gold cracked in the ground, at the vault doors. And they wonder for a second what all that coin could buy them outside of their sponsor. And then they go back to hammering on that damn door.
All right. We are going to use an ability here as you are pushing your strength to beyond human limits. Go ahead and roll 2d6. And then for
My dice need to roll better.
you can add 1 to your roll for each true statement. Number 1, you've done this specific act before perfectly, which is, I guess, hitting shit with your with the palm.
Yeah, I'm sure I've opened things with my sword before.
Yeah, +1. There you go. You're desperate for this to work, but you will exchange 1 strain, which is essentially an injury, or a sponsor approves of your intended action. I'm going to say that the Butcher of Heaven feels indifferent to this.
Yeah, that sounds right. I think it's just the 1 then, because I think it's just having done this before. Listen, we want the coin, but they're not going to strain themselves over it. Yeah. I think that they're just trying to do it.
Okay.
So that will be a miss. That is only a 6 total.
All right. You push beyond your limits and your ability fails you in the moment. You suffer 2 strain instead of the full effect. So as you begin hammering at this, you see and feel the fatigue kind of wearing down on you. You realize that the fog is pressing in closely, and you do eventually break it open. The vault door gives and it collapses all around you, breaking as if stone, debris scattering. And inside the vault, you see immense wealth, stacks and stacks and stacks of coins. You have the ability as a player to open your inventory. You can throw in whatever that you like, and you can access it later if you please. You also have various thoughts. Your hesitancy to play the game, your reluctance to be a puppet as you hesitated outside the door before you started beating it down here. You realize that the sub-scenario did say that you could destroy the wealth if you wanted. Or you could take it for yourself. It waits.
Coin and violence have been a means to an end for so long. And there's a rage that makes them think, maybe I don't open my inventory and put all of this coin in there and move on to the next sub-scenario. But then I think about Mara Killfeed. And that as much as I want to change the game, I don't want to lose. And the inventory opens and that coin just goes in.
All right. So as you go about doing this, you empty the coffer of this vault. You step out and you are worn down. You see that there are thousands of other vaults all around you, and the fog is beginning to press close. I'll say that if you want to rush and try to break open 2 more to satisfy the sub-scenario, you can. Or you can try to move forward.
I think we're going to wager that 1,000 is enough. And at least we haven't been killed, or, lost something more precious. So they're gonna take their loss and the 1,000 coin and listen to the fog, because I think that they're not super into the idea of letting the fog close in. It feels bad.
You begin to maneuver through the battle arena. You can see that there are various ATMs fused into walls, and the screens are flickering out of service over and over as you maneuver between the alleyways here. Falling like ash all around you are banknotes and contracts, dissolving before they hit the ground. You move in the direction opposite of the way that the fog is closing. And you find a lobby of what was probably once a bank. And you have a moment of reprieve here. You know that you are safe from the fog. You can hear in the distance that there are voices shouting, violence is not far off, as you hear clanging and death cries. Because you took 2 straight so early, if you want to take a moment to have rest, you can open your inventory and take out various objects that can essentially relieve 1 strain. Or you can try to take advantage of this spot. There are still some vaults nearby. You can try to open 1 more.
I think given all of the violence outside, we see this kind of sarcastic, pitying smile as Rousset listens to the sound. Only amateurs die this early. Only amateurs pick fights this early. Unless they really are hungry, unless their sponsors really need them to do it. And they're not going to die here. And so I think that we see them find a spot in this lobby, almost like they're waiting for a bank teller to call on them. They sit down and they pull like a sandwich out of their inventory and sit and just wait as the sound around them just continues. And they're just like eating a sandwich, having a nice time.
As you're eating your sandwich, you can see that there's someone who steps into the threshold of the bank. They are broad-shouldered and quite dense in frame, wrapped in armor that's clearly been repaired too many times to count. You can see that none of the plates match. The straps that hold them together are knotted by hand. And you can see that they're holding a broadsword, kind of dragging it along beside them. And as they stop in the doorway, they don't seem to have noticed you yet. You see that they raise a hand and their hand is trembling. Not out of fear, but perhaps just from fatigue. This man looks out towards the street. It seems that he's also found this place as a temporary reprieve, just to step out of the violence for a moment. Doesn't seem to have noticed you.
The sandwich just gets set down very quietly. And they look him over from head to toe. And they feel so sad for him. Because it's a mirror. They're so tired. They're just more durable, so their hands are not shaking. But there's other parts of them that are wavering. Hey, friend.
There's the creak of metal and leather as they turn to face towards you. You can see that his eyes are piercing green. He has salt and pepper hair. He looks quite weathered and old. Oh, I didn't know that this place was taken. My apologies.
I won't raise my blade against you if you want to just sit a while.
He rests his broadsword up against the threshold of the door that leads in here. He begins to slowly approach, looking you over, and quite flagrantly, without any sort of subtlety at all, he raises his hand. He very clearly pulls up your character profile and is just reading up on you as he's coming up. Champion, huh? Well, I'll be.
Guilty as charged.
I've probably been in more games than you, and I haven't won a single one. Gotten close. Not that close.
It's not all it's cracked up to be.
He sits down across from you. He's more than an arm span away, so there's still that sort of like respectable distance where you know that he's not a threat, or at least you'll have the chance to react if he was to do anything. He just kind of sits down, and there's a deep exhale, all of his muscles uncord as he sinks into this weathered lounge chair. Opens his inventory, and he takes out a cigar.
I love him. I think it's only fair, and Ruse will pull up his profile.
Okay. As you check status here, go ahead and roll me 2d6. I'll use that to determine how much information to give you.
Throwing out these dice. That's a 3.
A 3, that's okay. You still get an answer here. All right. Say what you want clarity about and answer 1. So you get to choose between what useful piece of information catches you by surprise or what information is conspicuously hidden.
I think his sponsor is hidden.
Okay.
I think that they go and they're expecting to see, line for line, and it's just blocked out.
You see that this individual's name is Old Man Rook. That is their player name. So where it shows that his sponsor, it says the type it is a mysterious sponsor, but no other information. You can see that he has a reputation of close quarters combat and a long and violent history. Much longer than yours.
Well, doing well so far.
Ain't dead yet.
All those young guns out there.
A lot of green this time around. They're just picking each other off, and we're not even... Pulls up a menu. We're only about 45 minutes in.
Some people are just eager for the blood.
I learned quite a while ago that you just sit tight, avoid the fog.
Yeah.
Best strategy.
Yeah, meta doesn't matter if you're dead.
I don't think I've seen you before. What world are you from?
I've been around. Doesn't even matter anymore.
He takes a long drag off of his cigar. Smoke plumes around him, and there's this deep, earthy smell that permeates the air. No, it stopped mattering when they came.
Yeah.
You like your sponsor?
Of course. And there is no joy behind their eyes when they say it.
Suppose they're still, active at least. Present?
Oh, they're very eager, especially for a good finish. You?
He ashes his cigar off to the side, pulls another drag. I haven't spoke to my sponsor in years. No rewards, no guidance. Just keep spawning in these games. Kind of messed up.
I don't know. I think absence versus omnipresence both have their upsides and downs.
I suppose so. And not too far away, there's a boom. Some kind of explosion. Dust kicks up kind of wanders a bit into the space here. He just sort of like waves it away. He just seems completely nonplussed about it.
We've got grenades spawning already.
I didn't manage to get any of those vaults open. I think some of them might have weapons or auxiliary tools.
Yeah, mine just had coin.
Well, from what I've seen, and he kind of like looks over the building that you're currently in, there seems to be a bit of a theme to this world.
Yeah, it's not subtle.
No, it is not. I have a suspicion that coin might be more helpful than anything else in the long run.
Coin and blood.
You do know that we are going to have to fight at some point.
I do. But, between you and me, old man Rook, I know who I'd bet on. No offense.
None taken, champion. He takes another drag of his cigar and then he flicks it away. You enjoy your sandwich.
You enjoy that cigar. And, good luck out there.
You too. And he kind of tiredly, bones creaking, gets up and just a bit of a grunt to it. He just begins to walk off slowly, his back turned towards you.
And Rusey watches. And that good luck was genuine. More genuine than saying that they like their sponsor. But dying won't get them out of this. And I think another latch unlocks to this thought. This hunger to change. And even though their inventory weighs nothing, that coin feels so heavy all of a sudden.
It does.
But they finish their sandwich.
It feels heavier than it's ever before. In fact, it's strange. It's noticeable. It's not just feeling. You realize that your inventory, which is generally weightless, does actually have a slight burden to it. You get the sense that this might be an interaction with the system, with this particular world. As you look out into the street, you can see in the distance where there are a few bodies strewn out, players that didn't quite make it. You realize that they aren't bleeding red. They're bleeding gold.
Mm-hmm.
You see Old Man Rook kind of hover in the doorway, grabbing his broadsword, looking out towards the blood, and he says, "Well, I'll be damned. Not a lick of subtlety." And he just leaves.
Oh.
So you can go ahead and recover one strain here as you kind of take a breather. You do feel the window close for this sub-scenario, so unfortunately you will not get any benefit here. And for all intents and purposes, because you chose to rest and because you moved, you don't have to worry about a system backlash. Oh,
I think that there's some really old memory of maybe earlier in this slow crisis of doubting their sponsor and their work here, that they just let the fog push them and the system lashed out, and they're like, not doing that again. Whatever that was, not doing that again.
Nope. You begin to push forward, and as you do, you can see that the terrain begins to change. You are entering a different district, heading towards the heart of the final battleground. You've entered what appears to be an industrial complex. The roads bleed into the interior of a very large factory of some kind. All around you, conveyor belts are beginning to run. You see that all of the goods here are being efficiently pressed into featureless crates. There's a grinding, an incessant grinding of metal. You hear pistons pumping, and various chimneys are belching smoke that smell wrong, processed, filtered. Rhythmic thud, whir, clink, thud, whir, clink. Machinery all around you. How do you move about this transition into this new space?
The road was for walking, but conveyor belts, movement, the intricacies of a world that is different. They want to understand how it works, not to analyze it, but because it is movement. And they run towards one of those conveyor belts to try and get on.
I love it. Okay. As you get onto the conveyor belt, it takes you into the belly of the factory here. You can see as you're whizzing by that there are various fights kind of pocketed around. You actually see Killfeed literally take the gun and shoot someone in the head, and she screams out, she like whoops and says, "Don't take this personal. It's algorithmic." And she strikes a pose to the camera that's hovering over her shoulder. I know, I hate her. I was like, this is such a great idea.
God.
just aura farming in this game.
Yeah, oh my god. And I think we see Rusey like kind of crouched and just kind of, even though they're like totally engaged and like writing on this conveyor belt, they're just like, no. And they just fully facepalm watching this.
It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible to behold. You do not see Old Man Rook quite yet as you're moving through here. You see up ahead that there appears to be a sort of like processing facility where all the belts converge. And you get the sense that your ride is over. You have to hop off.
Yeah. And, well, that was a treat. They hop off and immediately draw those short swords again. And they are just holding them reverse grip so that when they just hold their arms at their side, it's just their hands. No one needs to know. But as subtle as they think they're being, they look like a nightmare manifest in gold, and they have a reputation that precedes them.
As you're looking around here towards the heart of the assembly here, you can see that the various lines, as they parse through this central hub, that they begin to be sorted. Objects, weapons, all indifferent as they're moving through. You can see that there are screens that are essentially hovering over different individuals. You can see there are words such as assets, liabilities, depreciated, kind of flickering in and out of existence over the heads of other players. Nearby, you can see that there is a display stand kind of hovering in the air, pristine, illuminated, and there is a very distinct sigil of a crown. As you notice that, a menu begins to appear, and it says,
Sub-scenario number 2. Clear condition. Eliminate or outmaneuver a rival attempting to claim territory. Reward. A rare weapon on loan. Penalty. System backlash.
there's a weapon waiting to be claimed. The price is violence.
They are built for this. And though they were not interested in violence against other players in the first sub-scenario, the second one is where things start to get interesting, especially if there's a weapon on the line, because they want to use it. And I think as this occurs to them, they realize that bleeding into there is a fantasy of using it not against the player to win, but against that faceless mask. Huh. Gotta win first. And they go around the edge looking at these small populated flaws. And like a predator animal hunting a herd, they look for the weakest one.
Okay. As you're beginning to move around, you see that there are quite a few players gathered in hubs. Let's do a roll here. We'll use the move of using your ability, trying to like hone your predatory senses. Go ahead and roll 2d6.
Different dice, significantly better result. I think we've definitely done this before.
Yep, +1.
Not desperate for it to work.
Your sponsor will approve of this. Loves violence.
Cool. Yeah. So that's an 11.
11. That is an overkill.
Yeah.
The game master will describe how you also drain, terrify, or wreck what's around you. Okay. I imagine that this will essentially look like taking out multiple targets. You're beginning to thin out the herd here. What does this look like as you take out 3 other players? And I'll describe how you essentially destroy part of the environment doing it.
Sure. They look around until they see 3 players who are more engaged with each other than watching their surroundings. And I think that they use a bit of the moving machinery and propel themselves right into the middle of the fight, bringing 2 of those swords down immediately in the momentum on 2 of them. And as they pull them out and that gold sprays, they then, not even a second later, skewer the 3rd player straight through. And it is efficient, it is quick, and it is so flawless. It looks like a dancer moving across a stage. And we see just a glimmer of that jacket that sits on their shoulder that we know that in their lobby is these bright feathered pauldrons, because who they really are has this bright aura, they're humbling themselves here to be this form. And we see a burst of feathers for just a second as they finish the final player.
This draws the attention of Killfeed. She stops where she has essentially slammed her boot into the back of the person that she was fighting. She lowers her smoking guns and the camera kind of whirs in on you. Where you are focused on the kill itself, she can see the battlefield around you. Like a painting, gold blood is scattered all throughout, translating every single move of your blades. It's beautiful, it's artistic. Where bodies have flown, the various assembly lines have broken. It is devastating. It's clear that you're on a whole nother level. And Killfeed kind of deflates a little bit. That bravado seems to crack as she's watching you, realizing that there's no way she's going to be able to keep up. So instead of meeting you head on, she begins to slink away.
I think any physical injury that Rousset would have tried to deal her way to get to the next thing or to stop her from trying to take this weapon, he'll take the damage to her pride.
As you...
And
Sorry, go ahead.
They take their blades, and I think we just see the gold kind of wash off of them, leaving only this almost bronzier gold. It isn't gold like the coin or like the veins in the ground. It is old and loved. It is adornment, not wealth. And they shake that other gold off.
You were naturally
Moving
pressed deeper into the factory here. And as you do, you can sense that there's something else present. A sort of third viewer, not the feed of another player, not the stars watching. But you are familiar with this sort of pressure. You had to kill an incarnate to become a champion. And you get the sense that there's one nearby, the physical manifestation, an incarnation, a star taken physical form. Very likely, this is the wind condition. You're going to have to take down something that's like a god again.
And their bones ache. Their essence aches at the idea of having to do that, not out of sadness, but because it was so hard. It was so hard, and it still just ended up putting them here.
The last time that you did it, what did you lose? What did it take from you?
That golden eye wasn't always gold. And it's not the loss of the eye, it's that it hurt because it shattered them apart just to do it. And now they're here again. And the thing that hurts more isn't that they're different. It's that they're doing the same thing again, and the machinery makes it feel like they are viewing themselves from the inside. Just a machine doing the same thing over and over and over again. And they're fucking tired of it.
You hear death all around you. You can hear triumphant cries of those who survive. And you press forward. You see that the factory here is starting to slowly get swallowed up by the fog. You find yourself in a lonely corner of it, hearing only the pistons, hearing the whirring of machinery, and you get the sense that someone is stalking you, someone is hunting you.
I think this frustration doesn't really let go, as they can still feel the presence of this incarnation. And why can't they just do what the stars do? Pull on how this actually works. They don't want to be stalked. They don't want to be surprised. And I think with that frustration, they try and dig deeper into the factory, what's past the factory, the world that they are sitting in. And they don't want to look with their eyes. They want to find this person by just feeling this player's presence in this world. They don't want to play. They want to know.
Okay. We are going to roll usability again. So roll 2d6.
Mm-hmm.
You've definitely done this before. And I'll say that your sponsor does approve of this because it is the slow, methodical step that comes before killing things.
Okay, so these dice decided overkills only. That's a 13.
Oh my god. Okay. All right. So you can tell me how this drains, terrifies, or wrecks what is around you, but essentially you will discover that it is none other than Mara Killfeed, who is trying to get an ambush angle on you.
Of course she is. I think that we see something that maybe they're not supposed to be able to do as they try and get past the material of the factory and feel almost through like the veins of gold that suffuse this place. And they pull some of it apart, and we see the gold, not the gold veins that belong here, but that more beloved, adorned gold crack through some of the factory parts and jam them up. And it makes it so that it's less predictable. It's harder to follow someone when things become a little bit more chaotic around you. I know you're there.
She steps out from the shadows. She's up on a catwalk slightly above you. She has her gun pointed straight down at you. She says, okay, all right. Hold that pose. That's going to be the thumbnail.
For when you kill the champion.
That's right.
You know it's at the end, right?
Engagement. Bonuses. A nice cushy upgrade to my sanctuary.
You know, the stars don't care. That's pittance to them. And they say this loud enough, intending for their camera to hear it.
You hear a nervous laugh coming from her. She just kind of points her gun around, kind of gesturing emphatically as she's speaking. Look, it's all just a game, right? You either have fun or you wallow in it. There's no point in trying to fight the system. And right now,
surrender and become it.
Baby, I'm the all-star, okay? I'm going to be the one who takes out the champion.
I'm sure you make an excellent pet for your stars. And they're going to try and dive into the broken machinery to try and get an upper edge. And they are going after Mara Killfeed.
Okay, this sounds like an inflict violence system move. All right, we're going to roll 2d6 and add 1 for each true statement. 1, they wish you harm. Yeah, definitely. 2, you're desperate. 3, it's personal. Are you desperate?
I don't think they're desperate.
Okay.
I don't even think it's personal.
Okay.
Which I think is really funny.
Yeah, I mean, just another player, right? You know that this person's not responsible for the systemic battle to the death royale that's in front of you. Just another participant. So that'll be a +1 because they absolutely wish you harm.
Well, that makes it a 13 because
oh my god! Holy shit! Okay, overkill. You break something that cannot be fixed. The GM tells you how the system retaliates. Okay, describe to me how you take out Mara Killfeed.
They get into some of the halting factory hardware and find a handhold to be brought up to that catwalk. It's almost perfectly placed there, and only this halting pace makes it so that they have enough time to grab it and propel themselves up. And we see as they do that they still leave behind this almost patina. And they launch themselves up into the air, and while it would seem like they should still be on the ground beneath the catwalk, they come sailing down from above. And their first target is to kick the camera aside so that the camera sees when Rusei comes down on Mara Killfeed with a short sword, and her whole chat can see.
She seems scared when you kick the camera, as if it's not going to be pointed at the two of you. The second that it clatters and lands in a way where the two of you are absolutely in frame, her hand slacks. She isn't trying to reach for it anymore. And as you deliver the killing blow, she starts to gurgle on the blood, and she says, "Still rolling. Still rolling. Blood's trending." And she expires. You see she goes slack. And you see that as you take her out, the menu, the blue screen that is translucent, reappears, and you see that it flashes. As you have eliminated a rival, your reward is a rare weapon on loan. And you can see that platform that was bearing that magical item, it begins to lower down, becoming accessible to you as you've satisfied the sub-scenario number 2.
And they go running for it. And we see that, again, they move like they're almost flying. They rerun through the factory to get to this platform.
You see that this sort of polymer clear case pops open with a hiss. And as it does, made available to you is this golden coil. It almost looks like a snake, but you can tell that it is supposed to be a weapon. It is very whip-like. Sort of rope, a sort of restraint, something that can be used to your advantage.
And they take it, kind of spin it around their finger once or twice to feel the weight of it, and then they put it in their inventory.
Knowing that you've cleared this, there's no point in loitering. You can, if you want, spend some extra time here before the fog closes to try to recover another strain, but that might open you up to potentially running into people who are trying to escape the fog. Or you can take advantage and press forward.
I think that they, past Rusei, would have stopped and gathered their strength and let their menacing aura kind of dissuade people from coming after them. But winning the game feels less important. Even though they just did exactly what this scenario wanted them to do. That's not the point. They can feel this incarnation and the rope. And they need to follow that. They need to find that. Because winning against one incarnation was hard. Winning against another one will be hard. But the more times they do it, that fantasy of slashing a short sword into the Butcher of Heaven animates them again. They think about that oil that they just found. And they think about wrapping it tight around the Butcher of Heaven. They think about destroying a star. And they go forward.
Oh, man. You see that as you press forward, abandoning this factory, that the road leads out into an area that has a great number of floating ledgers and kiosks. It opens up into a plaza where there is predominantly centered a massive toll gate before what looks like an actual literal arena. You can see that positioned around various entrances are faceless clerks. And as you're closing the distance, you can see that they are made out of coin. Instead of a head, they have a large coin. Their fingers are made out of gold. You can see that there are golden pylons beyond. There are chains of light hanging down from the sky, almost like receipts. Bits of chain that bear many, many coins. Something is up there, but to get closer to it, you need to get into the arena. You can hear soft murmurs in the area. It's almost as if people are whispering. Occasionally, you hear a "thank you for your patience." And there is the scratching of quills on parchment. It smells like polished brass and incense here. You are the first to arrive. Violence has not left its mark on this part of the arena.
They're going to almost stroll forward. This is different. It feels different. We're not waiting. We're not thinking about how to best game the system, what the smart meta choice would be to sit, recover strain, be ready for the next part, the next scenario. They're just enjoying the walk, the smells, the sounds. It's different. It's a little grating, but there's a weightlessness suddenly because they kind of don't care for a second that there's death behind them, probably death in front of them. This is a walk in the park for a second as they approach the toll booths, and these strange tellers. They are just curious. They look around at the chains and the people and the sounds, and they smile just a little.
Doesn't last very long. You see flickering very quickly, actually almost as if it has been optimized, lightning fast. A screen flickers into visibility, and it reads,
Sub-scenario number 3. Clear condition. Gain access to the inner arena. Reward. Access to the final fight. Penalty. Variable. Determined by what is given up.
Well,
this is part of the game.
the ease wears away a little, but there's a little bit of confidence, a little swagger. They just did what they're great at. And they press forward, wondering what they could possibly give up because they don't have much. Time to find out what this hungry place requires of them.
You can see that there is no sense of urgency with the people that are working, or even if they could be called people, these entities with the coin faces. They are waiting, and as you approach, you can see one of them kind of tilts their metallic plate face towards you, and they say, "Ah, welcome to the arena."
Hello.
There is a fee required to enter.
What's it cost?
You see a great menu opens up with lightning fast efficiency. You see a number of different price points, some of which include accepting coin, some of which include surrendering items, the surrender of a favor, or you can refuse and enter with violence. But before you're able to answer them, you can hear a gruff noise behind you. Slowly approaching is Old Man Rook. You hear the drag of his large broadsword before you see him. Well, what the hell is this?
Toll bridge.
Damn. I couldn't get the vaults open. I couldn't get my hands on anything else. He looks over at the menu, and you can tell that his heart sinks a little bit. He's not going to be able to get past this part.
You, what are you hoping for next time?
He just pulls out another cigar. He just sets his broadsword down against the kiosk, and you can hear the attendant kind of complaining and trying to but it's just it falls on unheard ears, and he just kind of shrugs. They summon me, I appear. I do my best. It hasn't proven enough, and maybe that's why my sponsor hasn't been speaking to me.
Nothing to hope for then.
Maybe something different will happen. I
I hope
doubt
that
it.
for you.
He looks in the direction that the two of you had come. You can see that the drag of his broadsword has smeared some gold, clearly the equivalent of blood in this place. He's taken a few people out. Well, what do you hope to get out of this?
You know the wind state here, right?
He gestures, opening up a menu, and it says, Main Scenario 1, Fight for Your Life. He just points at it.
They're here. They've brought down a star. There's an incarnate here.
Shit. He just kind of leans up against the kiosk. Oh. Maybe it's a mercy that I can't get in then.
What do you think they'll do if we win?
You tell me. What happened when you won last time?
Their cheeky smile kind of fades. Nothing. Same old. Here I am, aren't I?
I think that out of everyone here, you're the closest to heaven there ever was. There really isn't anything?
Blood and gold. Coin and stars. And death. Sad to say.
He has a faraway
It's left me
look.
thinking.
Yeah?
And they walk closer. They're aware that, violence could happen, but there's a measure of trust. And they lean in more conspiratorially. How many incarnations do you think we could carve away till you don't need that sponsor anymore?
His eyebrows crawl up on his face and he lowers the cigar. Well, I think if I got close to one, maybe they'd come back. Maybe if I have a chance to talk to mine, I can get a sense of where to go from there.
What if we don't need them?
I've spent years without mine, and I've been doing fine, I guess. And he just kind of gestures to the
doing fine.
area
Yeah.
around.
I don't know. Maybe it's just all this blood got into my head. They're dismissing it, but they mean it.
Better in your head than... And he gestures to the ground.
Maybe the other side is about learning for me. And they look past the toll gate.
Well, I think that we have two options here. Either we say our goodbyes and you go on and be champion, or maybe we break the rules a little bit.
Oh, yeah? Got a rebellious streak in you, old man Rook?
I wouldn't say rebellious, but I've tried the same thing for too long, and nothing's changed.
I want to see what you can do.
I think at this point,
They
the two of
step
you
back. Yeah.
look towards the kiosk and look at the various options that you have. Choosing violence and just breaking things is always an option. What is a toll gate but another door?
Exactly. We know that Crusade doesn't really care about traditional ways of opening doors, since there are doorknobs and other ways, and instead they chose stab. And I think that they take a little nod to Old Man Rook, because it's a risk. They may or may not succeed at this, but there's something very fun and new in trying something different. And even though they can feel that weight of coin in their inventory, they're not interested in paying a toll or playing by the rules. They want to carve a new path, and with that they pull their short swords out.
Okay. As the two of you choose violence instead of playing into the game, there is an immediate hush that falls over the toll gate. And you see your eyes drawn to it like a target moving across a scope. Something begins to descend from the sky. The draw of your blade has drawn the attention of what appears to be an angel. You see wings made out of hard light unfolding and a soft metallic chime ringing out as this entity descends. Their armor is pristine, white, gold, with translucent blue panels etched with shifting sponsor sigils. There isn't a single scratch, no blood. Their face is perfectly still as they drop to the ground. And as they land, the ground shakes. This entity looks up. You can tell that this is a player. Good evening, champion.
Good evening.
It seems that your current strategy is less than ideal. Allow me to help optimize it.
What's in it for you?
They stand, and as they do, you just see Old Man Rook just opens the character profile, just doesn't give a shit. Just it's like, Seraph 9. Huh. Looks like our friend here is a player with the sponsor of whatever's inside that arena.
Ah, so you're here to be a good guard dog.
The objectives for my scenario are not the same as yours. It is my task to keep outsiders from entering the arena. Please do not resist. Resistance increases processing time.
I'm afraid we're at cross purposes here. I hope the next world is kinder to you. And they are going to leap to try and kill this angel. And as they do, no matter what happens, we see black wings, pauldrons hug their shoulders as a gold-flecked fallen angel descends.
Let's inflict violence. Okay, 2d6, and you add 1 for each true statement. They wish you harm. Yes. Are you desperate?
I think we're getting there. I think that they're starting to realize that they really do want to kill this player's sponsor. And if this player's in the way, they gotta die. So, yes.
Okay. Is this personal?
No.
Okay. That's going to be a +2.
For a nice old 8.
Okay. 8 is a hit. This part of the fight ends on your terms. So, as you clash with this individual, you see that they're prepared. They pull out what appears to be a spear made out of hard light. And the moment that you begin to close distance, they charge forward, but they don't charge at you. They go for Old Man Rook. And you see Old Man Rook brings up his broadsword and he tries to deflect an attack. He takes a strike to the chest and he falls back. Gold begins to leak from his wounds. He's not quite dead yet, but he does appear grievously injured as he collapses against the kiosk. The attendant on the other side looks startled, looks frightened, but you don't hear them scream as they sort of jolt backwards. You take this moment to your advantage. What does it look like as you land a strike on Seraph 9?
They use all of the environment to push themselves off. And as Rousset reaches what would be a normal height for a jump, we see that they are light. And that lightness is not just because they are very strong, but because they actually do have a bit of wing to them as well. They're not visible. They're a part of these pauldrons. And with that lightness, they use it to their advantage only to crest high enough to bring down one of those short swords very quickly across the striking arm of Seraph 9.
Your blade severs clean. The weapon and the attached arm fall away and gold leaks everywhere. But this entity does not stop. You know that death is the only thing that stops players that are serious, that mean to satisfy their scenarios. And as they raise up their other hand, they will try to hit you. I'm going to need you to use an ability here to either soak this up or to try to evade or even repel. What does this look like as you are trying to withstand this attack? You see essentially this ball of light begins to manifest in their palm.
We see them cross their blades. They go against people who have projectiles and magic. So their solution is to guard against it. And as their blades cross in front of them to deflect it, we also see wings of black and gold swarm around them for just a moment, creating a shield of hard light.
Ooh. Okay. I'm going to need you to roll 2d6, add 1 for each true statement. You've done this before.
Yes.
Why do you have that face?
I'll tell you in a second.
Okay. Are you desperate for this to work? You have to mark 1 strain if you are.
No, because I think that we're ready to tango a little. So I think that they're just like, this is part of fighting. Yeah.
Okay. And number 3 is a sponsor approves of your intended action. I'm going to say that it's in the butcher's best interest that you stay in one piece. So +2?
Makes it a 14.
Oh my god. Okay. Jeez. Overkill. All right. Describe how you drain, terrify, or wreck what's around you. Okay, so describe to me what this looks like, and I'll tell you what happens as you succeed.
The wings cross and this energy just ricochets off, and I think instead of just deflecting it, it explodes across this toll booth area. And it's like watching a sun collide with a planet.
Immediately, bits of the golden pylons behind you, the kiosks, they're crumbling as they take this scattered damage. This would have absolutely annihilated you, just eviscerated you into a burning husk. And instead of landing, it spreads. And you can hear Old Man Rook go, "Oh, yeah, oh, ah," as he tries to like dive out of the way, just kind of rolling on the ground here as he's holding his wound. And you see that Seraph 9 does not seem flustered. There is a coldness, a almost robotic focus as they continue to push forward. You can tell that this is not going to stop. They already begin to load up another attack.
I see you choose the stars today. And for that, I'm very sorry. And as the black streaks around them on the ground smolder, we see them drop their arms, the wings vanish, and with their 2 short blades in hand, they just charge. Before anything else can happen, even as Seraph 9 is loading another large and devastating blast, Versailles is fast. And they're hoping to skewer this player through. Cross purposes that cannot be moved.
Deviation detected, escalating response. And you can see that even with only one hand, they bring their arms together and they try to stretch this spell that they're casting. Go ahead and inflict violence, 2d6. They wish you harm. Are you desperate?
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to start saying desperate every time at this point. Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Is it personal?
No.
Okay.
Still not personal.
Okay. It's going to be a +2.
Okay, well, that's not as good. That's a 5.
A 5. Okay. On a fail, the opposition seizes a flaw in your approach. Suffer 2 strain. And the GM will describe the corner you're backed into. Okay.
Yeah, let's go.
You try to bowl forward. You take your weapons. You know how to move with them. You are trained. You are efficient. You are a master of this craft. However, the last time that you fought an incarnation, you did not fight anyone that they were sponsored with. You know that this entity here, as you're engaging with them, they're much more powerful than you anticipated. You can feel the incarnation's influence in the way that they move, lightning fast, impossibly fast. You strike out at nothing. They're already gone by the time you've closed the distance. And as they reappear, it is behind you. And you feel the full force of this spell explode into your back. It sends you flying across the plaza here, and you smash into a distant kiosk. Your vision blurs. Your ears are ringing. And you hear the sound of the scribbling parchment amplified, almost as if it's right by your ear. You look down and you can see that blood, made of pure gold, is leaking from you.
Ursay is not afraid to die. For as many times as they've gotten the upper hand in a fight, they've certainly died on their path to becoming the champion. But death is not the thing they fear here. They want to succeed. And a creeping thought, as much as they wish for freedom from the Butcher of Heaven, is that they might have crossed yet again into the same path of desire. Because even though today Ursay was thinking about using that strength against the Butcher of Heaven, the Butcher still wants them to win. And as they right themselves, push off some of the golden blood, they tilt their head upward. If you want me to win, then give me some measure. This isn't a fair fight yet. You could even it up. And they will actually try and beseech the Butcher of Heaven.
Ooh, I love this. Okay. Let's have you use a move here. We're going to use either push your luck or defy the game master. Do you feel that you are playing into the game by calling on the Butcher, or do you feel more like you're working against it?
I think that this is buying back into the game a little to use their sponsor against another sponsored player.
You know that this is going to not be free. It is going to come with a price.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's push your luck here. When you push your luck with your actions, say what perilous feat you're trying to accomplish and roll 2d6. Add 1 for each true statement. A skilled ally is lending you a hand. You have no other options. No star is working against you. I'll say that the star is not deliberately working against you at the moment, so you do get a +1 here. And the feat that you're trying is you're trying to reach out to your sponsor.
Yes.
That's going to be a +1.
Okay. That is a 9.
9. Okay. Your luck hasn't run out yet. You get through it mostly unscathed. Okay. As you call out to the butcher, there is a deep rumble in the sky. You can see that a red star begins to pierce through the clouds. It gets bigger and bigger. All of a sudden, spearing down into the ground before you is that sword, the sword that never leaves the hand of the Butcher of Heaven. Dead metal that reflects no light. Needle thin, sharp, unforgiving. Lanced into the plaza in front of you at your feet. This is the chosen weapon of a god.
And they step forward and wrap their hands around it. And as they do, we see part of their gold become red as they wear the color of their sponsor, wielding their blade.
You can feel a debt deepening. The bond between you and the Butcher of Heaven thickening in a way that will be exacted at some point. And as you look over back towards Seraph 9, you realize that in the moment that you've taken here for yourself, they have turned to Old Man Rook. And you bear witness as they reach for the broadsword and they pull it out of the chest of Old Man Rook. And he slumps, expiring. They hold the broadsword with one hand and they test the grip. And you see that it begins to change color. It turns white and gold. And Seraph 9 turns towards you.
Let's finish this. And with that sword, they do a quick salute up. They know where this came from, and they know that there's a debt later to be paid for it. But for now, play the game. Win. Bring down the star. That star. Another day. And they will charge forward towards Seraph 9. And as they do, I think we see echoes, after images in red in the air as they charge forward, newly imbued by the Butcher of Heaven.
I love this. Okay, go ahead and inflict violence. +1, they wish you harm. I think you're desperate now.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that this has become personal because now there's personal stakes and cost that has come to it. So 2d6 + 3.
Here we go. Okay. That is an 11.
Okay, that's overkill. You break something that cannot be fixed. The GM tells you how the system retaliates. Tell me what this looks like as you take out Seraph 9, and then I will tell you what happens in the aftermath.
The blade of a god is much bigger and heavier than 2 short swords wielded by a simple player. And we see the strength of Rusey as they rush forward, and instead of elegantly dancing across the rubble, they, much like Old Man Rook, drag this blade that does not reflect light across the rubble and cut through it as they go. But they're fast, and it's like someone just cut a streak through the environment as they come up to Seraph 9 and in one very strong, swift strike raise the blade, and with the speed that they usually wield their short swords with, cut down in one keen slice the opposite arm and through. this angel. They're in the way.
It cuts so clean and so sharp that it's the sound of glass snapping when it's been pre-cut, pre-measured. And there is just an absolute precision to the way that this works. It is almost as if it's made out of laser light. It doesn't saw through meat and bone. It simply divides. And as Seraph 9 collapses in multiple pieces, you hear with their last breath, they mutter, "Your performance metrics exceed expectations." And they expire.
And over them, Rusay doesn't wear that jacket anymore. But the shards of light that burst reveal those black wing pauldrons. And they just give a respectful nod. Seraph 9 made it personal. But they were just another player. Maybe this learning that they are trying to accomplish will help them as well.
You can hear something crackling around you. It's almost as if reality glitches for a moment. The violence in which you've enacted, it stresses the system. It wasn't meant to bear such a load, and you can see the edges of this place fighting to maintain itself.
The bits of it that peel and glitch don't scare them. They might have not long ago. But when they won, they expected relief. They expected anything else, and instead it all just feels like the same damn thing. So to see it breaking a little, straining a little, the fact that their skin doesn't phase right anymore, they're back in their usual basic look, the one that they enjoy in their lobby, the one that looks like the way they used to look. Feels good to break things. And even though this sword has a weight and a cost, it feels good. And they drag it the way that that broadsword was dragged, towards the toll booths, towards the end game.
As you approach the toll booth, the door, the gate, it just explodes on itself. It collapses and it melts into coin as you see a window pop up, the translucent blue reading Sub-scenario number 3 complete. All around you, you have to step over this mound of coin. You're welcome to pick it up if you like. This is actual coin. This is worth something if you buy into the game. You know that you can use this to get stronger, to buy opportunity.
We see that same hesitation that they had when they opened the vault door. And before, when they thought about playing the game, it mattered. But they don't want to open their inventory. And this blade cuts through some of it. Means nothing. They step over it.
Metal crunches beneath your boots as you step into the arena. You see a great open space surrounded by these booths. You are the only one here. You can see that the fog is pressing in on the edges of this arena. Up above, you see a vast floating crown of interlocked gold and ivory. Sigils made out of light in the shape of data. The entire thing too large to rest on any head. It hangs beneath a half-formed body made out of contracts, coins, several hands clutching receipts, and a number of mouths whispering numbers. You can see promises, percentages, clauses written like prayers on the paper that hangs from it. It has no central mouth, but somehow you get the sense that it's smiling at you. You know, without a shadow of a doubt, this is an incarnation. It couldn't be anything else.
Looking at these contracts, I think first we see her say, veneer. We're all bound to these things, these stars. They manifest themselves as these ostentatious things. They whisper and chitter and do whatever they're doing. They're all just stars keeping us in this game. In this endless game, game to game to game. It's all the same. And they look and they wonder, what reward was offered to make a star incarnation step into the ring and risk everything?
You can see the first menu that you found upon entering this realm. Main scenario number 1, fight for your life. Unhelpfully, rewards are listed as varies. The penalty is death. Cryptic, unhelpful, like the way stars generally are. I will say, though, as you behold the incarnation, let's have you do a move here. Identify an incarnation. Wow, that might be helpful.
Wow, that's so good.
All right, so we're going to have you roll 2d6 and add 1 for each true statement. Number 1, this star has meddled with you before. I'm going to say no. You're familiar with their lore. I'm going to say no. It would be bad if you didn't know. I'm going to say yes. Because you are the only survivor here. You are its sole attention right now.
Nope, that is only a 5.
5. Okay. So, if you want, I'd be open to you pushing your luck here.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
This will be like a doubling down. It'll be really bad if you fail this, okay?
Yeah, let's make it worse. Let's go.
Okay. So 2d6, add 1 for each true statement. A skilled ally is lending you a hand. I'm going to say yes, because you have the Blade of the Butcher. Number 2, you have no other options. Yeah, I'd say that's pretty fair. And then number 3 is no star is currently working against you. That's not true.
That's not true.
Yeah, so this will be a +2.
Okay, we did it. That's an 8.
8. Okay. So you will succeed here instead. So you know exactly who they are. As you behold the incarnation here, you are able to pull up the menu, or it manifests before you, essentially. Much like when you go against a level boss and then their little bar appears. Yeah. You see the Devouring Crown. I'll say that okay. It says that their guiding star is the Sovereign of Plenty. This is a Hungary sponsor. You get the sense that all of the various means of wealth and coin and anything of value, material value, works in their favor. As you behold them, the coin that you collected from the vault feels heavy. It amplifies. You feel the weight of your inventory for the first time. That coil, where you hold it, it seems to be a burden. You can still use these things, but it seems tied to this incarnation somehow. What do you do with this information?
I think they feel that weight, and knowing this, reading out this title, we see them with their free hand just reach behind their back where they access their inventory. They could pull it up, but this is the quick button. And they just begin to fill the arena around them with the 1,000 coins they amassed from that vault. They let them out. They feel so heavy. And they want to be light and fast. But that coil, that maybe promise of doing something about this red that has crept onto them, and the sword that they carry that will help them now and might kill them again later. The coil remains.
Okay. As you unburden yourself of the coin, you can see that the various hands and the mouths of this incarnation, they begin to twitch, displeased as coin is scattered on the ground here. You hear a calm voice, polite almost, as the incarnation speaks out to you. Are you sure you want to do that? You worked so hard to get it.
I worked hard for something once, and it brought me nothing.
Well, everything that we do here is natural. A path must grow. Those who take it learn. You will not
Learn what?
be lesser without it.
I have a singular goal. Your coin. And they kick some of it.
You hear a shriek come from this amalgamation of limbs and gold in the sky. It did not like that.
No. But Rusey doesn't blink. They knew what they were doing. It won't get me what I want.
What is it that you want? Perhaps we can sell it to you.
And maybe for the first time in a while, Rusey sees with the eyes of the Butcher of Heaven. Seems that exact violence. Because yes, they do have the same goal here. Yes, the Butcher of Heaven wants them to win because it's for the win of the game. But Rusey wants to win because they're tired of buying into a game that gives them nothing back. And if they can destroy this incarnation, they're one step closer. So they look over the devouring crown. And they smile as they see butcher lines You cannot sell me what I need. As this, and they kick more coin, will spread all over this arena. And then they raise the sword from you.
As you raise the sword, you feel the coil suddenly become dead weight as it tries to bring you down to the ground. The coin that you've scattered begins to snake up, animating, almost as if trying to bind you in place. I'm going to need you to roll for me. Let's do a use an ability as you try to escape this. So roll 2d6, add 1 for each true statement. You've done this before perfectly. I'd say, yeah, evading
Escape some weird stuff.
Escape some weird stuff. You fought an incarnation before, sure. Are you desperate to make this work?
Yes.
Okay, you will mark 1 strain.
Yeah.
Sponsor approves of your intended action. Oh yeah. The Butcher of Heaven is so excited for this. So you'll roll 2d6 plus 3.
That is a 9.
Okay. On a 9, you do it. Describe to me what this looks like as you evade this essential like animated wave of coins trying to smash you into the ground.
I think that they propel themselves upward. And again, that lightness we see as the pauldrons flex a little. They are wings, but they're not wings on their back. They're the manifestation of lightness. And they don't fly, but it gives them enough propulsion to break free. But as they do, we see them wince, as to break free also must break free of that coil that is in their inventory. And from the small of their back where wings might normally sit, we see it fall and scratch down their body all the way down their leg as they fly free of it. But they are now grievously injured.
As the coil hits the ground, you see it moving like a serpent, almost as if bowing to the will of its true owner. The crown laughs. It is a soft laugh. Amused, unbothered, as it looks down upon you with its many faces, many hands. You recover. You feel your body slowly breaking. But you've taken down an incarnation before. You know if you land an attack in just the right spot, you can press your advantage and you can slay it. How would you like to further provoke this incarnation?
I think that as they leap into the air, they don't land back on the ground. They catch some of the hanging tendrils and the other environs of this arena. And they see some of these contracts dangling long in the air. And disrespectfully, even more disrespectfully than they did kicking the coins, they take the blade and just begin to cut them every time they see one.
As you do, you can hear collective screaming in the distance. As the bits of paper are severed, they turn to ash, disappearing, and the crown begins to quiver where it is suspended in the air. This is leaving a mark on the crown. It is quite clear that this is slowly whittling them down. And you hear the voice. There's a strain to it, but it still remains ever polite, ever soft, as it says, "You are clearly one of great power, confidence. I can sense your contract with the Butcher of Heaven. You know, champion, more friends open more doors. Perhaps we can make an exchange.
Say, what brought you so low that you would enter an arena like this one?
Precisely this. To find someone new to sponsor. Like you.
I do not need to be fed into your machine. And they're going to leap into the air again and swing with the blade that they indebted themselves deeper to acquire with confidence.
Oh, I love this. All right. Instead of doing inflict violence, I'll say that the incarnation is starting to get a little desperate. You've taken out their champion already, and you have actually found its weakness. The incarnation's weakness is... Where are you? Refusal to profit. Actions that destroy value, deny rewards, or help others without compensation weaken the crown. Choosing loss over gain causes visible damage to its form. It cannot comprehend sacrifice that yields no return. As you continue to deny it, you can see that the crown is beginning to shake violently. You see that some of the arms, some of the hands, some of the faces begin to slough off like dead, rotting flesh. It hits the ground. We move to a game-breaking move now. You have a choice. You can either slay this incarnation or you can try to liberate it. I will say that it hasn't quite opened up its heart to you. But if that is a path that you're interested in, we can just inflict violence instead.
I think that this is the idea of liberating someone who would negotiate further sponsorship into these games is repulsive to Rousset. They would rather end this. They would rather slay the devouring crown.
Okay. Slay an incarnation. When you overcome an incarnation in battle by exploiting its weakness, their guiding star is permanently banished from any scenarios on your world. Describe how they fall and roll 2d6. So, as you raise up this blade, describe to me how you cut this incarnation in twain using the tool of your sponsor.
We see two things. We see Rousset, the champion of the Butcher of Heaven, placed back in another scenario in another world. They raise this blade that echoes in the red blood. And it is sharp and an endless cut. But also Rousset, the fallen angel, the champion of their world, lost somewhere in these scenarios. The one who wants to bring down the devouring crown, not because of a deal, not because their sponsor wanted to, but because they want to unmake each of these stars that would suffocate players like Mara, like Old Man Rook, not just for themselves. They're tired of killing and killing and killing for their amusement. And the fallen angel, the wings cracked in gold, guides the blade. They'll learn how to do the rest another time.
As you sever the devouring crown into two, red light explodes from within. You hear an explosion of coin all around. It begins to rain gold as you fall to the earth. You see that translucent blue window appear again. Main scenario 1. Fight for your life. Champion. Rousset. And you can hear applause all around you. There are no faces, no people, but it is a roar of clapping.
I think as they descend, because I rolled exactly an 8, we see the arm wielding the blade. It's cracked. It doesn't fall off, but it fractures, dripping gold from the injury that it took to push the blade through the crown. And the coins fall, and onto them drips gold.
With the 8, they take a piece of you with them in a final act of petty vengeance. Name the part that you lose.
Their arm is no longer their arm. It is held onto them only by the will of the blade that they hold, because they wield a blade belonging to a star manifest here for them. And it took more of their mortal body to drive it through. And when they drop this blade, there will not be an arm there. But should they raise it again, the blade and the arm are one.
Just as your sponsor would always wield this blade, never be without it, you, in your own way, will never be without it too. We see a flash of brilliant light consume every sense that you have. You are taken into a realm where there are too many faces, too many voices, applause, patrons and sponsors all congratulating you, but it is a blur. You're not able to really pinpoint any particular identity to any one of them. In the course of 30 minutes pass by as these pleasantries, this victory is handed over to you in much the same fashion as the last time you were named champion. And then, eventually, you are shunted out of it, cast back into your sanctuary. But you're different now. How do you feel in this lonely space?
We see a cut chain of contract among the trophies that sit in an expanse of stars on a transparent floor. A simple figure with 2 pauldrons pulsing in starlight, made of black feathers and gold. With their right arm, it's just an outline, waiting to be modeled again. There's peace here and quiet, and a place to think about how to turn the blade of the butcher, break the cycle. Another time.
And as you wait, you hear a small ping, an electronic sound that draws your attention as a very small blue window manifests in the darkness near you. As you look over, you see friend request, Old Man Rook. Agree or deny?
And with a small smile, they accept.
That's where we're going to end our session of Bring Down the Stars. Oh my God. Thank you so much, Kai. That was so cool.
What a delight.
If you have enjoyed this performance of Bring Down the Stars, please check out the BackerKit. It is live today, so you have so much time to go on over there. You can use !BDTS here in chat, or head on over to BackerKit, where this game, created by Alessia Kills, is waiting for you. Before we head out for the evening, I would love to let Kai have another moment to please tell us about who you are, where we can find you, and what was your favorite part of our game here.
Oh my gosh. Hi, everybody. I'm Kai. You can find me everywhere as Estella Vim Ladris, where I do a lot of this. I'm a TTRPG performer, game designer, and consultant. You can find me all over the place doing a lot of those things, but my main home is over on Transplanter RPG, which is an all transgender, people of color-led dark fantasy actual play series set in a non-colonial, anti-orientalist multiverse, where I am one of the core cast members of our second campaign, The Chaos Protocol, which has also featured Stella as a guest. Over there, we are currently on a little hiatus. We did have a little incident. We hope that C. Thomas, our beloved producer, does feel better soon. But we'll be back this Saturday with a community stream. We're going to talk about romance and for Valentine's Day. And it's going to be a good time, including that I love playing tragic queer people. And then outside of that, you can find me over on my socials, where I'm always doing a lot of stuff. And I will be streaming tomorrow over on my channel, so come hang out.
Thank you so much. What was your favorite part?
Oh my God, my favorite part. I love when I realized, oh, we're in Apex Legends. I understand what's going on now. I was just like, oh, okay, yeah. Because I think that the way you set up the scenarios was so fun. And so I was ready to play the game, but also push against it. Now I'm thinking about playing all of these shooter games that I love. And I'm like, what if I break them though? So it was a delight.
Yeah. So the fog mechanic, that was something that I made up. And you're more than welcome to add it into your games, of course. The purpose of that was to essentially just kind of help us push towards the goal, especially because it's a streamed game. But it also adds that ominous narrative of if you're kind of forced to make a decision, because indecision is going to just ultimately end in your demise, which is just so thematically appropriate for this game, I think. Just absolutely fantastic. There's so many different things that you can do with this genre, and then also just with this kind of storytelling as well. So check out Bring Down the Stars. Let me know if you end up playing and if you end up making your own world. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. I'm Stella Luna. You can find me on Twitch at Stella Luna TV, everywhere else. And I hope to see you next time. Have a wonderful night, everyone. Bye!